So today's question comes from Universe Loves Me Again, and it's about the Lunar 7th month. So before I start the question off, show reel. Pranam, Namaste, my name is Garret. Before I start the question off, please make sure you guys remember to hit like, subscribe and comment your learnings in the comment section below. I'm dedicated to make 4 videos a week to spread more light and positivity out there to the world. Okay, so without further ado, let's head into the question. So the question goes like this. Hello Garret, how are you? Now it's the 7th month. Heard a lot about the taboos, but how true are they and should I really be cautious about it? Sign off, Universe Loves Me. So obviously Universe Loves Me comes from an Asian country because she knows about the 7th month. Okay, so when we talk about the 7th month, right, it is basically the Hungry Ghost Festival in Chinese culture. And if in short, right, if it's being translated for the Taoism faith, right, it is called Zhongyuan Festival. And if it's translated to the Buddhism faith, it is called the Yulanpeng Festival. Okay, so it is both commemorating deceased souls or ancestors or even relatives, friends. Okay, so basically departed souls. Okay, so pretty similar to All Souls Days in the Christian faith and All Saints Day like Halloween. Okay. And of course, there's other different kind of similar celebrations all around the world. Like in Japan, they call it Obon, which is also like the Ghost Festival in the Japanese version. And there's also countries that celebrates similar kind of faith in the Vietnam, in Cambodia, in Laos, and all those celebrations. The names are a little bit hard for me to pronounce, so I should not go into it. But in Thailand as well, Thailand they call it Sat Thai, that is celebrated between September and October. So it's also a 15-day long kind of annual festival, and which is also paying respects to deceased souls. Okay, so in like I say, when it comes down to all this faith on celebrating departed souls and giving back and commemorating all these souls and the spirits, right? If it's not true, then it would not be spreading all across the world, and people wouldn't have commemorate the dead for being the dead, right? And being their and during this period is definitely true because different countries all celebrate and the departed souls. Okay, so definitely to answer this question, it is true. Okay, so they are this spiritual form, and know this, we are also spiritual beings in the physical world, so we are more spirit than the physical. Okay, so note this. So the difference between the departed souls and us is just that they has lost their physical form, whereas we are still in the physical form, but we are also spiritual beings, so there's nothing to be afraid of. Okay, so whether or not your question is, should I be cautious about it? I wouldn't say cautious about it. I would say more of respect. Okay, like I say, even or not we are dead or we are alive. Okay, if let's say in the most simplest term, we as human beings, you would like to treat respect, and you also like to get respect, right? So you treat different people with respect. So you treat your neighbor with respect, you treat your colleague with respect. Okay, you also expect the same kind of respect from them, right? So like what I always say, you want to treat somebody else good so that you also get treated good. Okay, if you treat other people bad, they will also treat you badly. So same thing. So liken this, if you were to only respect spirits only during the 7th month, then you're only being cautious in the 7th month. That means you're not showing respect on the usual days. Who says that the spirits only wander during the Hungry Ghost Festival? Okay, who say that they are only around us during this period? They are always around us. Spirits and energies are always around us. So what makes it special? The only difference is during the Hungry Ghost Festival, right? The gates of hell is open, and from the lower realms, lower dimensions, they are free to roam for that particular period of time. Okay, and the reason why they are free to roam is because they've suffered under the lower realms, right? So definitely there's a period whereby they need to catch a break, and they are allowed to come back to the physical world, physical realm, to actually visit their family members, their friends, okay? And they are also here to see their descendants, okay? Certain ancestors come here and visit their descendants, okay? So during this period, of course, most family and most companies as well, they offer offerings. They burn joss sticks, they burn candles, they burn incense papers. Certain people do chanting and rituals, and in the Buddhist faith, right, they also do a lot of chanting and a lot of offerings as well. So it's quite similar to Taoism, whereas the Taoism, they make it a lot more grand, a lot more bigger in terms of nature of prayers. So certain temples would also hold several days kind of events whereby they would bring a lot of their followers up to the cemetery to offer respects to all the dead souls who are actually homeless, or I would say they lost their family members in times of war, and they could not find any relatives, or cannot find any of these friends to actually come and commemorate them. So that's where during these festivals, right, they would actually offer respects to all these deceased souls. Okay, so certain taboos. Okay, so I would know of a few of taboos. So take for instance, especially in Asian countries like Singapore, Malaysia, China, Taiwan, Hong Kong. So all this People Republic of China, PRC, okay, People's Republic of China, all these countries where there's Chinese culture in it, right? We will offer incense paper, we will burn incense paper, and we will also offer joss stick, food offerings. All these offerings will be usually on the ground, and when people burn joss sticks and burn all this incense, right, you would see all this paper fly off whenever the wind blows. So certain times of the day, one of the taboo is to ensure that you do not step on them, okay? And make sure when you're walking on the streets, do not kick onto them, and do not make sure you do not step on them, okay? And if you accidentally do step on it, please apologize and give offer respects. Like I say, it's all about respect. If you want respect, you give respect. So simple as that. Same thing for spirits. So you want respect, you give respect. Always respect all energies. Okay, so this is what my master has taught me. Okay, so the other taboo is to ensure that for pregnant ladies, try not to go out till very late after sunset. Usually it would also is not very good, because pregnant lady, or especially when young kids like below the age of 7, try not to bring them to playgrounds at during this month. Usually spirits are not necessarily just older spirits, right? They may have young kid spirits also. So these kid spirits also hang around in playgrounds playing during this month. So you may have heard certain scary stories, like whereby the seesaw at the playground suddenly moves on its own, things like that. So it is hard. It's not that it is fake. It's certain times energies are still at play. So they are also using the facilities in the physical realm. Okay, when during this month. So just pay respect, and don't let your kids go out at this hour after sunset, because it's not that good. Because like I say, younger kids, they are more receptive to energies, they are more sensitive, because their channels are much more open, okay, below 7 years old. So that is the nature of kids. Okay, so one of the other taboo would be making loud noises, singing at night, late, especially at night. Okay, and it's also important to note that during this period, right, of Hungry Ghost Festival, right, it's not good to stay up late. Okay, especially if you guys are working OTs and you guys are staying up till like what, 12 midnight, 1 a.m. in the morning. It's not good because, like I say, energies are very active during this period. Okay, the energy of the yin energy is very high. Okay, yin energy is feminine energy. So feminine energy means anything to do with the underworld or spiritual. Okay, it's more spiritual kind of energy. So when spiritual energies are high, it means that spiritual beings are much more active during that period. So which means you are much more likely to encounter spiritual kind of encounters during this hour. So it's not good to be awake during this period, okay, so to speak. So that is why, like I say, it all boils down to respect again. So unless you are trying to communicate with them, then don't stay up this late, okay? Then when you are also singing, then you are also making loud noises, you are basically calling out to them. So in other words, during this month, that's why there's a lot of temples, right? They would hold singing kind of performance for the dead. Okay, so usually in Chinese temples, right, once they do like what we call the 七夜歌台, it's like they actually hire several singers to come here and perform, and they will perform for this for everyone in the temple to pay respects. But also you will notice that there's several rows of chairs that's being placed. So the first row of chairs can never be seated. Okay, no humans can actually sit on the first row of chairs because it's said for the first row to be reserved for these spirits. Okay, so don't sit on the first row. So that's another taboo. So there's 101 taboos that you need to take note during this month, but just only in Chinese country. Western countries, you basically don't see much people burning incense papers, joss sticks. You don't see temples doing all this kind of festivals. So only particularly in Asian countries, especially where it's Chinese populated kind of countries. Okay, so then, like I say, things like also don't play with the I would say spiritual kind of games, like what we call 碟仙, like the discus kind of thing. You don't play those spiritual games, especially during the 7th month, because it's quite likely that you might piss some spirits off. Okay, like I say, respect. You want respect, you get respect. Okay, there's also things like you don't pick. Another taboo is most likely that you don't pick up things or flashy jewelries or any money, or don't pick up coins, or don't pick up anything during this particular month, especially when it is a form of offering. Okay, because you wouldn't know what belongings are actually as an offering for these spirits. Okay, so respect again. So respect. Always give respect during this particular month. Another taboo is if you as a family member, most parents would like to, when they wash the clothing, they like to hang the clothes out to dry, right? So make sure you keep your clothing before the sun sets. Okay, so it's said that when you leave it out there, beings can also wear your clothing. Okay, so this is not only across this is also not only across 7 months. It's actually supposed to be done on a daily basis, because spirits move around whether it's 7 months or not 7 months. 7 months is that there's higher frequency, because the gates of hell is open for the Chinese culture. That's what they believe. Okay, and whether or not, like I say, whether or not it's true or not true, only you would be able to witness it yourself. Unless you don't believe it, then whether or not anything happens to you, you would think that, oh, it's just an accident or so on and so forth. However, if you are much more aware of things like that, then if something happens to you, then you know, it's because of me maybe not doing a certain kind of respect or hitting into certain taboos, then yes, then you will know that it's existed. Okay, so all these taboos, you need to just make sure that you practice it. And yeah, whether or not, like I say, in everything about spirituality, like I said before, is whether or not you believe it, or whether it's true or it's not true, whether it's right or it's wrong. Like I say, nothing in this world has to be proven by science all the time. What you don't see does not mean it's not existent. Okay, and it's all about what's there to lose. Just not about being cautious, but being respectful, and just there's nothing wrong to believe it, right? And when you believe something, when you have faith in a certain belief, okay, when you trust that it's inexistent, then you don't have to find 101 ways to prove its non-existence. Okay. However, when you want to prove that it's not existent there, then you have to find all your research and all your 101 ways to prove that it's not in existence. So which one is easier? It's easier to be a believer, right? So like I say, there's nothing to lose. Okay. So I think I've covered quite a few taboos already, so I think the rest of it you most likely might be able to Google it online, but I can tell you is just be respectful rather than cautious, because cautious is you have to be cautious all the time. Like I say, every time you live your life cautious way, right? You live your life in a cautious way, but rather than being cautious all the time, being aware is much more a nicer word. Okay, be aware and be conscious of the way you live your life. That is something that I would want to point out to all the viewers. Okay, so I hope you've learned something from this video, and if you do, please make sure you leave your comments in the comment section below. Okay, with that I end off my video. Pranam, namaste.